welcome. You're watching the Newshour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Today, the government's Ministry of Culture organized a bike rally, a Tiranga Yatra for members of parliament from across party lines. The idea was actually to kick off celebrations for the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of India's independence. Several MPs and leaders of the BJP participated in an event that was meant to cut across party lines and actually stand for the country. But of course, that did not happen. All members of the opposition parties stayed away from the event. They claimed that they had never even been invited. But clearly, that did nothing to dampen the enthusiasm of those who did participate, of those who decided to speak for the tricolour and for India.
सोचिए, हमने भाजपा का झंडा लगाने को तो बोला नहीं था, हमने तो तिरंगा लगाने को बोला। अभी वो तिरंगा से भी नफरत करने लगे हैं। लेकिन अभी मैं नहीं बोलूंगा, मैं अभी घर जाकर के पूरी सबकी समीक्षा करूंगा, कौन कौन आया है। मैं समझता हूं ये आह्वान सभी सांसदों के लिए था। अगर किसी ने नहीं उठाया झंडा तिरंगा तो मैं समझता हूं उससे सवाल पूछेगा देश।
I think it's a great message on the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav when India is celebrating the 75th year of independence. From Lal Killa to Vijay Chowk, it clearly sends a message, strong message that thousands of youth and MPs and ministers have gathered with the Tiranga in their hand. It's sad to see that the opposition parties have not joined, especially on this kind of program which is above any kind of politics or any party politics.
हर नागरिक को आह्वान है कि 75 साल आज़ादी के हम एक उत्सव के रूप में मना रहे हैं, लेकिन जैसे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा, आगामी 25 सालों में हर भारतीय की अपेक्षा पे हम कैसे खरे उतरें। ये संकल्पों से भरे 25 साल हैं, ये नई दिशा देश को और विश्व को देने वाले 25 साल हैं और इस उत्सव में हर हिंदुस्तानी जुड़े, यही प्रधानमंत्री जी का आह्वान है।
Well, the politicization of the tricolour didn't just end there. This was just one of the events as a part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The Prime Minister also called upon everyone to make the tricolour their social media display picture. He changed it himself. This also then became a battlefield for one-upmanship. The Congress did make all of their social media accounts display the tricolour, but their own version, a tricolour in the hands of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Other parties had their own objections, differences and spin to this particular request. Most notable among them was Mehbooba Mufti, who deliberately brought in the state flag of Jammu and Kashmir along with the tricolour. Shafiqur Rahman Bark of the Samajwadi Party, who insisted that a flag does nothing to indicate, instill or promote patriotism. And then, of course, was the familiar refrain of why the RSS is not following the diktat to use the tricolour as their online identity.
देश कौन देशभक्त है सब जानते हैं। कितना देशभक्ति है कि हमारे देश को आजाद करने के लिए जो अखबार निकाला गया था उनके खिलाफ आज जिस घिनौने साजिश हो रहे हैं, हम लोग अपना अपना मनाएंगे। ये बीजेपी का अपना पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा कैसे लेंगे? हमारा खादी को खत्म कर दिया, चाइना से अभी फ्लैग आने लगे।
देखिए, कितनी दुर्भाग्य की बात है कि अमृत महोत्सव किसी पार्टी का, किसी दल का, किसी विचारधारा का, राजनीति का नहीं है। इसी कारण से कांग्रेस आज तिरंगा को जवाहरलाल नेहरू से विस्थापित कर रही है। आज कांग्रेस कह रही है तिरंगा इज नेहरू है, नेहरू इज तिरंगा। यह विरासत का अपमान है, तिरंगा का अपमान है।
हम बीजेपी की पॉलिसी पर नहीं चलते। हम देश को अपना देश मानते हैं और देश की इज्जत करते हैं, देश का भला चाहते हैं, देश की तरक्की चाहते हैं।
वो बोल रहे हैं
वो सिर्फ झंडे से देश की तरक्की का नहीं होगा। देश के अंदर जो काम होने चाहिए उससे मुल्क तरक्की करेगा। 75 साल हम भी मनाएंगे, हम कब मना कर रहे हैं। आज़ादी के 75 साल हमने भी कुर्बानियाँ दी हैं। मुसलमानों ने अपनी फांसी के तख्तों पर झूले हैं और सीने पर गोलियां खाई हैं और सारे मुसीबतें झेली हैं।
शफीकुर रहमान बर्क भी पार्लियामेंट के गेट के पास ही, बिल्कुल पार्लियामेंट की बिल्डिंग के बाहर वो बाइट दे रहे थे और कह रहे थे झंडा फहराना कोई प्रतीक नहीं होता है देशभक्ति का। देखिए, बहुत सोच समझ करके जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मेकर्स हैं और हमारे जो पूर्वज हैं, उन्होंने प्रतीक बनाए। झंडा एक प्रतीक है, प्रतीक भी महत्वपूर्ण है और भाव भी महत्वपूर्ण है। और शफीकुर रहमान बर्क जी कह रहे थे काम करना पड़ेगा, काम करने से ही देशभक्ति आगे बढ़ता है। बर्क साहब, चौधरी साहब, इस सरकार ने काम किया है। ये आपकी सरकार है, सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक इंडिया ने किया है।
So are we then just to believe it's a given that even the tricolour is not above partisan politics? Is the BJP trying to appropriate the tricolour for itself? Or is the Congress making a desperate attempt to try and insert the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty even in this? Even in the issue of celebrating the nation and the tricolour, it cannot be allowed unless there is someone from the Nehru-Gandhi family inserted.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, we have Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of BJP, Ratan Sharda, author, Sandeep Mawak, Chairman of the J&K Reconciliation Front, Kapil Madan, Advocate Supreme Court, Political Analyst Anirban Banerjee, and Ehtesham Hashmi, to who I want to ask the first question. The whole idea of using the tricolour as your display picture, what does that have to do with the BJP? It's not like anyone is saying, please put Mr. Modi's picture there. They're just saying, put the tricolour there. Why did Nehruji have to be inserted in it, Mr. Hashmi?
Padmaja, why are you not having a tricolour in your debate? Why you are not having a tricolour displayed on your channel? Because I can't see a tricolour on your table. So tricolour is not the criteria to prove patriotism and nationalism. And these BJP leaders are criticizing Congress leader to have a picture of Nehruji who is holding a tricolour in their hand. I am posing a challenge to all the BJP leaders out here to show me a single photograph of Savarkar, Golwalkar.
We will go to Savarkar in 1 second. I don't know why we always circle back to Savarkar and Golwalkar. That is point number 2.
Even I am having a tricolour in my office.
Congratulations, sir. You don't have anything to prove. With or without the tricolour, nobody is questioning you.
I am having this tricolour.
Sir, my question was different. If we just stick to the issue at hand for starters, the question I asked you was, to say that we will put the tricolour as our display picture was a simple request to all citizens. Put the tricolour. Don't put Mr. Modi. Don't put the lotus. Put the tricolour. Tricolour doesn't belong to BJP. Tricolour doesn't belong to Sanju Verma. Why did Nehruji have to be inserted in that?
Padmaja,
that is my question.
Let me give you an answer to it.
Yes.
Let me give you an answer to it with an honest answer.
Yes.
Not on the side of Congress and not on the side of BJP government. As an Indian citizen, I am trying to giving you my answer.
Yes.
I belong to Madhya Pradesh, though I am practicing in Supreme Court of India. I am based in Delhi, but I have concrete information, fair information, that government is forcing school children and school teachers to buy national flag from dedicated BJP outlets at ₹30.
Sir, again we are going off in different directions. Can you please answer my question? I'm requesting you to answer my question. If the choice is between using the tricolour as it is and using Nehruji's picture in your display picture, which one would you choose?
There is no Nehruji in this flag. I am having a simple flag.
I am asking about the Congress. All day today the Congress said, we will not put the tricolour. We will put Nehruji with the tricolour. Why?
There is no such orders. Who is doing so?
All of Congress, right from the top. In fact, it started with the Indian National Congress, followed by Mr. Jairam Ramesh, and then all the other leaders followed suit.
And if we want to have Bhagat Singh, Mr. Azad and Mr. Nehru along with the tricolour, there is no harm.
There is no harm, Sanju Verma. If Nehruji is also there, he was our first Prime Minister, he deserves to be there.
Padmaja, I did not interrupt Mr. Hashmi. I hope he will extend me the courtesy. I just want to say one thing. I'm completely flummoxed, but I am not surprised in the least. This was so much expected from the Congress. This was an expected line. Their big grouse against the Modi government has been कि हमको तो तिरंगा बाइक निकालने के लिए invitation नहीं मिला. This is the same Congress party which last year refused to participate in the Constitution Day celebration despite an invitation going out formally from the Modi government's end. This is the same Congress party which refused to participate in the Bhumi Pujan celebration of Central Vista and then later on started playing victimhood. हमको तो भूमि पूजन के लिए बुलाया नहीं. So Congress, I think, thrives on victimhood, thrives on selective outrage. Now coming to this whole debate about Golwalkar and RSS not hoisting the tricolour for 52 long years.
No, we'll come to RSS in a second. First, answer the question on Nehruji. If he is there, he was our first Prime Minister, what's the problem?
First, she
You know, Padmaja, I did not interrupt him. You will have to moderate the debate.
Yes, answer my question. What is the harm in Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru being there? He was our first Prime Minister.
I am answering. All I'm telling you is, please, you know, ask this man not to keep this background music. That's very disturbing. Okay. I'm not saying there is any problem having Jawaharlal Nehru along with the Tricolour. My simple point is this, and I want to say this to your program, that for so many years, rather for decades, all that we, our children, and perhaps had it not been for the Modi government, how many knew that, you know, today was the 146th Jayanti of the man who was the architect of the national flag, Pingali Venkaiah? I doubt it. How many people know that apart from Jawaharlal Nehru, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhi, we also have people like Khudiram Bose, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, Sucheta Kriplani, Begum Hazrat Mahal, Peer Ali Khan, Durgabai Deshmukh. You know, these are people who were freedom fighters, but have they ever been celebrated? No. So the Congress tried its level best to ensure that the freedom struggle legacy is limited to the Nehru dynasty. And
Ehtesham Hashmi, that's the problem. Let's celebrate our country and its symbols, and at least on some things leave the dynasty and the family aside.
Celebrating all the national festival with utmost honesty, sincerity and respect. Now, can I, Padmaja, with all due respect, with folded hands, may I make just one simple question? May I ask my learned colleague, my learned friend, my sister, Sanju Verma ji, can she show me a single national flag in her office, BJP office?
May I please answer that, Padmaja?
Please ask her. Show me a single national flag with her.
May I please?
Ask her.
Sanju Verma, go on.
She is not having a national flag. She just wants
to
make this BJP propaganda on national channel debate.
You know, now you've spoken, please hold your
Direct question, do you have the national flag in your BJP office, Sanju Verma, yes or no?
First and foremost, I'm doing this program from my residence. I'm not doing it from the BJP office. Secondly, my DP has the Tiranga, and I can counter challenge you. Show me a DP which has the Tiranga without Nehruji's photograph. So let's not get into semantics. I just want to remind Mr. Hashmi, I will take 20 seconds. Till today, did you ever celebrate November 15th as the tribal Adivasi Day? No. Did you ever celebrate 26th December in the honor of the martyrdom of the Chote Sahibzade of Guru Gobind Singh? No. We always knew that 31st October was the day Indira Gandhi was assassinated. Did we ever celebrate 31st October also as the Jayanti of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel till Modi government said do it? No. You did not have the courtesy of even having a memorial for Baba Saheb Ambedkar, which we started building when Fadnavis first came to power in Maharashtra. It will be ready by 2023.
Okay.
And Bhim Rao Ambedkar is the man who was the architect of the constitution. Whereas you have 465 schemes under the name of Nehru
Mr. Hashmi,
and the Gandhi.
Mr. Hashmi, now respond to this. Did you ever celebrate all of these people and all of these figures of our freedom struggle?
You are delivering those WhatsApp lecture on this new channel. You don't have a national flag. Please show me. You have a national flag.
You please tell me, have you changed your DP to a Tiranga?
Please show me national flag. Please show me national flag, my respected sister. Can you show me national flag? Instead of shouting like a kid, can you show me a national flag? You don't have national flag.
पहले बोलिए, नारा तकबीर में विश्वास नहीं करता हूँ, मैं भारत माता की जय में विश्वास करता हूँ. बोलने की हिम्मत है?
आपसे अच्छा मैं नेशनल एंथम सुना सकता हूँ. सारे गाँव से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा, हम बुलबुलें हैं इसकी, ये दुल्हता हमारा. मजहब नहीं सिखाता आपस में बैर रखना. हिंदी है हम, वतन है हम, दोस्त है हमारा. और आप जैसे नेताओं को शर्म आनी चाहिए जो कि हिंदू मुस्लिम पे डिबेट करते हैं. आपके पास तो नेशनल फ्लैग भी नहीं है. किस मुंह से आप डिबेट में बैठे हैं, बताइए आप. Don't you have a national flag with you? Don't you have a national flag with you? Don't you are having a DP of national flag on your phone? Show it to us. Whole nation is watching. Your fake nationalism is exposed today. I have exposed your fake nationalism. I have exposed your fake nationalism. You are fake nationalists. BJP leaders are fake nationalists. BJP leaders are fake nationalists. They don't have any respect for national flag and national emblem. You don't know anything about national orders and flag code rules. You don't know.
नरेंद्र मोदी की जय नहीं बोलती हूँ. बोलिए भारत माता की जय. आपको तो भारत माता की जय बोलने में शर्म आती है.
बोलने में किसको शर्म आती है? किसको शर्म आती बताइए ना। हम लोग तो रोज स्कूल में प्रेयर गाते थे। एक मिनट सुनिए, शायद आपने पढ़ाई लिखाई अच्छे स्कूल से नहीं करी है, मैंने केंद्रीय विद्यालय से पढ़ाई करी है, ठीक है। मैं आपको पूरा अष्टमा सद्गमय सत्यमेव जयते वंदे मातरम सब सुना सकता हूँ आपसे। अच्छा जनगण मन नहीं है आपको, आप सुना दीजिए वंदे मातरम सुनाइए, वंदे मातरम सुनाइए अगर आपने इतनी शर्म बात है।
Okay.
वंदे मातरम सुनाइए।
Okay, nobody has to prove anything over here. Ehtesham Hashmi is saying, I am as much a patriot, if not more, than anyone in this room right now. Ratan Sharda, things like this cannot be foisted on anyone. You cannot foist patriotism. Here is what Gandhiji actually said at the time when our flag was just being adopted. Even at the time when it had a charkha, he said, our symbol of non-violence must also include humility. In the present state of tension, I do not want the tricolor to be hoisted on government buildings or municipal offices unless it is accepted, not merely via overwhelming vote, but unanimously. So don't foist it on anyone. Apni apni marzi, apna apna tiranga. Ratan Sharda.
Padmaja, did anybody impose it? This is an appeal. It is up to people to accept or not accept, to hoist or not hoist, have Har Ghar Tiranga or not. Those who like it, they are doing it. Those who have some bone to pick, they are finding smallest things, smallest pretexts to create unnecessary controversies. It's a simple celebration of 75 years of our independence. It's a festival. We are enjoying a festival-like atmosphere in which there is no name of anybody. Right from the day Har Ghar Tiranga was proclaimed by Modi ji, has he put his figure anywhere? No. Has he said anything about any party? No. But what has Congress done? It says Nehru with Tiranga is the only right way, because in another debate some congressman said that Gandhi or Nehru ne Tiranga laya, desh azad karwaya. So by that very word, they have downgraded the sacrifice of thousands of people, unsung heroes and heroines of this country, who sacrificed for the freedom struggle. They have negated revolutionaries, they have negated Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, they have negated Azad Hind Fauj, and so many other people. By downgrading everybody, saying Nehru ji ke bina Tiranga ki baat nahi banti. My objection really limited to that. I have no problem with them having a Nehru ji with Tiranga, not at all. They have every right, but the explanation is not correct. If they said
Kapil Madan. And it's a simple thing. See, the tricolor, nobody can stake claim to it. The tricolor stands for our country. When we win a medal, our athletes salute our tricolor. They don't salute any prime minister. They don't salute any Congress, BJP, Samajwadi party. When our soldiers fight, they fight for the tricolor. In fact, so much so, and it's been quoted very often, in Ukraine, our students got safe passage only because they were carrying the tricolor. It is just the symbolism, because it's you as a nation.
See, there are people who are saying that Tiranga jo hai,
I think, Mr. Sharda, I think the question was to me. If he's not finished,
yes, Kapil Madan, go on.
The question was to me. So let me start by saying in the very beginning, see, Tiranga is our pride, and we don't need anyone's certificate to show and prove that Tiranga is our pride, and Tiranga is the pride of the opposition, and Tiranga is pride of the Congress party. And having said that, let me share a very small story. In 2001, Padmaja, 3 individuals went to the RSS office and they tried to hoist the national flag. Do you know what happened? They were jailed. They were jailed by the then government. It was a case now of they want to preach. Now they will not start from their home. Mr. Sharda, did I interrupt it?
No, you cannot spread canards.
So did I interrupt you?
You don't make canard by such stories.
So no,
make your arguments.
Now, I know you have. I know it is getting inconvenient for you. Plus, please hold on. You will get a chance to rebut. Then you rebut when you get the chance. Now, applying the same logic which Mr. Sharda just gave, that if I am putting a DP with Nehru ji with Tiranga, I am disrespecting all other freedom fighters. If you follow the same logic, RSS till now, they don't hoist the national flag. So by that logic, they are disrespecting everyone.
Okay, so this has been an enduring myth. By the way, let me make one point before Ratan Sharda answers to this enduring allegation against the RSS that you have never hoisted the Tiranga and you still don't do it. The point is, Mr. Madan, what you were talking about 2001, that was a case of people trespassing. No prime minister is entering your house or entering your phone and changing your DP and saying तिरंगा लगा लो, यहाँ पे कपिल मदान के घर के ऊपर मैं झंडा फहरा दूंगा. This was a case of people trying to barge into an RSS office and trying to hoist the tricolour there, as opposed to people being requested to hoist the tricolour. Why doesn't the RSS do it? Ratan Sharda.
See, this is very simple to create a story around RSS not hoisting tricolour. Hundreds of RSS people sacrificed their lives during partition for the sake of this country. They went to jail in 1930, 1942. They sacrificed their lives for Satyagraha, for Goa liberation. Does he know who was Mohan Ranade? Do we know that Mohan Ranade was rotting in jail till 1969, even after Goa was liberated in 1961, 14 years after independence of India? And who led the Satyagraha? RSS. Who got the Dadra Nagar Haveli liberated? RSS, who is hoisting tricolour there and handing over the area to Indian government. Who fights with the military right from 1947 in Kashmir to Punjab when people are losing their lives and losing their women.
You're saying that the RSS hoisted the tricolour in Dadra and Nagar Haveli.
Some very plaything. So RSS sacrifices people, its own, during Khalistan, during Northeast imbroglio, and who did it? RSS did it. So when you sacrifice a life for the nation, it is for the tricolour. So don't try to trivialize RSS, don't try to trivialize national struggles, and don't try to score points on very, very vague and very supercilious kind of arguments.
Kapil Madan,
read my book Sangh and Swaraj, see what RSS has done for all its life. Guruji went to Kashmir to persuade King of Kashmir to get accession with Bharat. You are aware of this historic record. All this is going waste just because you believe that RSS doesn't hoist left.
And you know, Kapil Madan, before you respond to that, when we were speaking earlier about the symbolism of what the tricolour means and why it is important, or this is being done for every citizen, Sandeep Mawa today went and put a tricolour on the gate of the Hurriyat conference, the gates of the Hurriyat. Why Sandeep Mawa? Are you a political activist? Did you do it for your politics?
Is this the question to me, Padmaja? You asked.
Yes, Mr. Mawa, Sandeep जी, आपके लिए सवाल है. अगर ट्राइकलर इज अबाउट पॉलिटिक्स, आज आपने क्यों अपना झंडा ले जा करके हुर्रियत के दरवाजे पे लगा दिया?
See, you should understand, I'm a Kashmiri. We have been told that we are part of some deep nexus with Pakistan. Today we want to give a clear signal that we are part of the mainstream, and anybody doing secessionist activity in Kashmir would be taken to task. So for me, Azadi Ka Amrit is a celebration of independence. So in solidarity with our country, I hosted the national flag at Hurriyat office to send a clear message to anti-national and secessionist mindset that Kashmir is not for this. We want peace, development. So in a way, I've contributed for my people, my country. So that was the plan today.
Anirban Banerjee, it's about this symbolism that Sandeep Mawa is talking about, not about BJP or about Mr. Modi.
Yeah, the symbolism that Mr. Sandeep was referring to, I would very much love to ask him that what is the reaction, or what is the rather the condition of the common man in Jammu and Kashmir since many months have passed of repealing of 370, Article 370. The Jammu and Kashmir turned into the Union territory, and all the political parties there, they are most of their leaders under house arrest for very long. No political activity are being allowed. What is the reaction of the common Kashmiri or the common person living in Jammu and Kashmir? Just putting up the flag on the office of
empty symbolism, Sandeep Mawa.
Let me answer.
Will that improve?
I got your point. I got your point. You should understand that downtown celebrated today that I dared to hoist a flag at the Hurriyat conference office. Where are you? You are giving a wrong perception. The people of Kashmir are celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit.
How does that
There is every day there are political rallies in the even in the worst militancy infested areas previously. Shupia, Kulgam.
Under house arrest now. How long? How many months were they under house arrest? Why no political activity? Where is the election?
Who was under arrest?
The election.
No,
who was under arrest?
Yes. No, you
Almost
understand.
all
They
the
were
top political leaders of Kashmir were under house
Some
arrest.
people were trying
Why
to
do you-
put a
do you
system
live in
mindset.
Mr. Banerjee, those people are under house arrest who even today are trying
That is
to pick
2019.
the state flag of Jammu and Kashmir when asked to celebrate the tricolour.
No.
Those are the people. And then there are citizens like Sandeep Mawa who are free.
Okay.
They were
Okay.
shackled earlier, not visibly, but tacitly. He could not step out earlier and unfurl a tricolour. He can do it today, a common citizen of India.
Okay. How does that improve the condition of the common Kashmiri in the West?
How does that improve your life? Tell him, Sandeep Mawa.
Yes, see, understand, we have the confidence that the nation is, the security agencies are doing their fantastic work, the LG is doing
What
a fantastic work.
work?
We
The
have got that
terrorists
confidence
are
today
on a
that we are
rampage.
fighting the system's mindset.
Every now and again,
I am
we
a
hear
Kashmiri
incidents
Pandit.
of terrorists killing the common man in the
Understand.
valley. The
Okay,
Kashmiri
Anirban
Pandit-
Banerjee, I'm sure you sitting in Kolkata have a much better understanding, than Sandeep Mawa, who's actually sitting in downtown Srinagar, but clearly you know more. Sanju Verma, why is this an event? Event management कर रही है बीजेपी, अधीर रंजन चौधरी ने आज बोला, हम अपना अलग करेंगे, आपके event में नहीं आएंगे.
You know, Padmaja, this is such a serious topic, but it is so laughable that the Congress has chosen to even trivialize the 75th anniversary celebrations of our independence struggle. I just want to say one thing to Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, that when we hoist the tricolour or when we celebrate 75 years of independence, it is also celebrating the achievement. And Padmaja, I don't want this to be political, but as an honest fact saying Indian, not merely as a politician, I'm very proud, that today we are, home to 12 crore plus toilets, the world's largest sanitation program, Jan Dhan Yojana, the world's largest financial inclusion program,
Okay.
Ayushman Bharat, the world's largest healthcare scheme, Garib Kalyan Yojana, the world's largest food security program, 8.9% GDP growth.
Okay, again,
last
see,
year.
we started by saying this
see,
is not about politics or this is not about your government program. So if you come down to it, it's a self-defeating argument. Finally, let me ask you this, Kapil Madan, that when you say that we don't want this to be an event, we don't want event management to be done, you've had multiple events in the last 2 months to protest against the questioning of Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi by the Enforcement Directorate. On the 75th anniversary of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, the Congress held nationwide events as well. Surely this should not be a problem, right?
So
This is an event for the country.
I think Sanju has raised the point that why did the Congress, people never went there, or why did they boycotted this particular event? I'll just ask her one question here. Did Mr. Mohan Bhagawat attended, Ms. Sanju Verma? Can you please respond?
Okay,
Did
Padmaja, can I answer?
Did Mr. Bhagawat attended?
Did Mr. Bhagwat attend? Sanju Verma, answer.
May I please?
Please say yes or
The
no first.
obsession with, Kapil Madan, you asked a question, you should have the patience to listen. This
Please,
whole
please.
obsession with Mohan Bhagwat and RSS, I think Ratan Sharda has done a lot of explaining. But on Padmaja's show, a very important point needs to be made. It was in 1946 that the interim government had already been formed under Jawaharlal Nehru, and it decided he would be the Prime Minister of Independent India in 1947. Nehru was given a choice to either salute the Union Jack or to hoist the tricolour. As interim Prime Minister, Nehru chose to hoist the Union Jack and salute the Union Jack. This is mentioned in K.R. Malkani's book. This is mentioned in Professor Chaman Lal's book. This is mentioned in James Hartfield's book. So please do not give a bhashan about your nationalism. Samuel Johnson has said, patriotism is the last resort of the scoundrel. I think that applies completely to the T to the Congress party, which is electorally vanquished and is trying to politicize the Tiranga movement because it wants to reclaim political capital, but too little too late, Kapil Madan.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that because there are some times when the country can unite under some symbols, and the tricolour surely is one such symbol. It stands for no party. No party can lay claim to it. It belongs to us and it will always belong to India. Thanks very much, all gentlemen. Sanju Verma for joining me.